Thank you. Welcome, everybody. And I don't think I've ever been more excited about a college football season. It's fun. Got a lot of changes that we're all dealing with and navigating with. But it's fun to learn to navigate. And those that handle COVID, because we had never been in a situation with COVID before, the ones that handled it the best won the most games. The ones that are handling NIL and transfer portal the best, instead of griping about it, are going to win the most games. That's just what you do as the structure in college football change and moves forward. But NIL is a great thing in so many different ways because the players get paid. And our guys are using NIL for charities. They're using it to reach out and help their brand. They're using it to get to meet new boosters. One of our guys was talking about the storm damaged the roof on the house, and Mom was able to fix the roof because of NIL money. We've got a young guy with stage 4 cancer that he's been able to help some of those costs. His mother's a police officer, help her that we can't pay. So it's really helped him. Tez Walker, when he was dealing with his NCAA stuff, was able to get an attorney. We couldn't have done that 3 years ago. So there's so many things that our guys are doing. They're helping with table to feed kids that are poor and can't eat. I can't imagine a child not eating. We're all so blessed. We get to eat when we want to and what we want to. 35 of them were at Habitat for Humanities on a Saturday afternoon when it was 97 degrees. Connor and a bunch of the guys the other night were raising money to fight an awful disease. So NIL for us has been good. It's a great learning experience, and the guys have handled it really, really well, and I'm really proud of them. Just quickly to reflect on our last 5 years, really proud of the things that have been accomplished. We are the best in academics with the APR in the ACC this year. We've had the best 4 years in North Carolina history. So I'm proud of that. These guys are tied with Northwestern for the 3rd best APR in the country. And that's they come to school to get a degree. That's going to help them even more than the NIL money that they're going to get when they get out. So I'm really, really proud that these guys have the best academic situation right now in the history of North Carolina football, the best in the ACC and the 3rd best nationally. We are also 2nd in the ACC with number of draft choices over the last 5 years. That means our coaches have done a good job of recruiting. It means we're developing young people. And a lot of those guys are getting opportunities at the 2nd level, and I'm really proud of that. And 3rd, we're tied with NC State for the 2nd most wins in the ACC in ACC games over the last 5 years. So I'm really, really proud of that. We've been to an Orange Bowl, which North Carolina's never done. We've won a Coastal Championship, which North Carolina had only done once in our history. So a lot of wonderful things that these guys have done. We won some games that we shouldn't have won and really surprised some people. We've had national rankings that are really high. What we haven't done, though, is we've lost some games that we shouldn't have lost. And that's really hurt us. We've lost some games where we were the better team. And that comes back to me. That's on coaching. That's on us, because we've had good enough players to do that. We haven't finished the seasons like we should. The old adage of fans and media remember November, that's why we don't have the respect nationally that we should have over the first 3 comments that I made, simply because we haven't finished right. And we've played some really good teams at the end, but we've lost to our rival 3 years in a row. One of our rivals, and you can't do that. And that's the end of the year. We lost to Clemson in the title game. We lost to Oregon. These are all good teams, but to be where we want to go, we've got to win those games. So our whole focus since the end of last season is, why are we not finishing right? Coach Bowden he had a quote that kind of said, if you keep making the same mistakes, you're going to have the same results. And that's true. So why not change? So we're going to play more people. We've got to play more people and create more depth. We've said it for 5 years. We haven't done it. We've got to do it. And Jeff Collins coming in is committed to doing that, and we'll do it on offense as well. When you've got starters that are not as tired at the end of the year, you can have them more involved with special teams, because we got to get better on our special teams. We got to get better on defense. and we've had some injuries and guys get tired at the end. Those are all things that we can do better. And they're simple answers for a very difficult problem, but they're things that we can do. Questions that I can answer for you.
Coach, your first one will come just in front of you in the first row on the right.
Coach Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. You look at this conference as a whole and how it's evolved over time. SMU in Dallas, Texas, and then 2 on the West Coast with Cal and with Stanford. How would you define what the ACC is becoming in the grand scheme of collegiate football?
Gosh, Dan, I was here when Florida State came in. And I remember Florida State was so good. And John Swofford came to me, and we weren't good. And he said, do you mind if Florida State comes into the league? And I said, yes. I said, my Lord, why would I want them in the league? And I said, wait 5 years, and we'll do it. And he said, okay, I'll do that. We put them in the next year. So I saw that. Then I saw the changes with Syracuse and the Boston College and all of those, Virginia Techs and those teams coming in. And then I was at Texas when we were down to hours that I thought Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Texas, and Texas Tech were going to the Pac-12. And all of that was going to change because it changed your recruiting areas. It changed the travel for your teams. It changed the travel for the parents. It changed the expense for the parents. So when you start looking at what's happened to this league now in really a third change, I guess, we had the change with a lot of different dynamics with teams coming in. Then we had Notre Dame's addition, and now we've had 3 new teams. It makes it exciting for our players to go to a Cal or a Stanford or a Dallas that maybe they haven't been to before. It makes it fun for fans, but at the same time, you have to think about what does it change in recruiting, what does it change for your academic schedule, and how much more difficult is it for the parents to get to see their sons play.
Coach, follow the center aisle up and then just to the left.
Hey, Coach. David Glenn from the North Carolina Sports Network and the David Glenn Show. When we think of your national championship, we sometimes think first of Vince Young, your great quarterback. When we think of your recent Carolina teams, we sometimes think first of Sam Howell or Drake May. But 2 of the best teams I've ever seen at Carolina were your 96 and 97 teams, which were built differently without the dominant quarterback. Can you do that in 2024, given your 3-headed quarterback and the rest of your personnel?
David, I think first you're going to hear from Max and Connor. I think they're both really good. And then we've got Jacoby Criswell coming back, and he competed with Drake May down to the last week. And I remember the year that Drake started, and I think it was Andrew told me the other day, there's not much buzz about our team right now. I think that's the same thing we said when Drake and Jacoby were competing for the quarterback spot. Don't have a quarterback, don't really have a lot of buzz, not much going on. We started 9-1. So Connor has played enough now that he gets it, and he's got a chance to be really good. Max has thrown 900 balls in the SEC. So I do think what will happen is our defense is going to be better. Last year, we ran the ball more like we did when Michael Carter and Javonte Williams were here. So we're going to help the defense more with our offense. And these guys have to step up, and they can't be Drake and they can't be Sam, but we can be a better team. And that's what we're working towards. And you kind of said that. We were never great in the offensive line, even with those 2 teams that we had in 97 and 98. That was where we didn't get to where we could block a Florida State. The day they beat us when they were number 1, we were number 4. They beat us 20-3. Quarterback got hit 9 times because we couldn't block them. And I do think we will be better in the offensive line next year. And that's a compliment to our coaches, the recruits that they're bringing in, and Randy Clements being back for a second year. And Randy and Chip are really on the same page. And our coaches are all on the same page. So I expect us to play better complementary football, and that's what I'm excited about. I think we can have a good team. I don't want to talk about it. Everybody says you're not talking about your team. Well, if you talk about them, they're not any good, then you're stupid. And absolutely, there's not a coach up here that knows how good his team's going to be. We all say it. None of us know. Who gets hurt? You got to be in a tight game, usually on the road, to see if you win. If you do, then you pull together. If you get beat early, then some teams fall apart. So After 36 years of this stuff, you can ask me, but I have no clue. When I was in your seat and ESPN would say, pick the 4 finalists for next year's team, it was right before the national championship game. I said, are you kidding me? I don't have a clue. And they said, it doesn't matter. Pick them. Just pick them. And that's what some of you all have done here the last few weeks. So, yeah, that was humor. That was humor. All right. What else?
Coach, to your right-hand side, third row.
How you doing, Coach Mack? TJ Wilkerson from 90.9 The Light.
Hey, TJ.
How you doing?
Great.
Good. My question for you, I've got 2. My first one is, since you decided to return to coaching 5 years ago, how are you feeling going into your 5th year? And also, you talk about coaching and player relationships. What does it mean to you to keep that bond going once they leave school and they go out into the real world, whether it's for football and so forth?
Yeah, TJ, I'll answer the second one first. We have a sign in our building. It's not a 4-year decision. It's a 40. I'm old enough now. Some of these guys it's a 50 because I'm still with them. And I have calls every day about, can I get a job, Coach? And I love Father's Day when they'll text me. And I love Christmas when I can see pictures of their families. And that's what this is all about. The people ask now, why are you doing this? And I was meeting with Coach Bowden and Coach Paterno on a Nike trip, and Coach Bowden was 84 and Coach Paterno was 85. And I said, what are you all doing? I was in my 50s. I said, why don't you go play something? And Coach Paterno said, I got no hobbies. I got 17 grandkids. I don't want to go spend all my time with these grandkids. And Sally actually said, do you know all their names? And he said, sure I do. And his wife Sue said, no, he knows Joe, but he may not know the rest of them. So I asked Coach Bowden, why are you doing this at 84? And he said, I have a purpose, and the purpose is to help these young people with their lives. He said, when I quit coaching, the next significant thing that will happen in my life will be my death. And I thought, that's pretty strong. And the way I feel is I love these guys. I don't like these guys. I love these guys. And they're so nice, and they're such good people, and they work so hard. And they're so mature that my life right now has a purpose that I get to see them every day, and I get to talk to them, and I get to help them grow. And if they're doing something that I messed up, it's worse for them now because of social media. We all mess some stuff up. Nobody knew it. They mess it up. It's all out there, and it's public. So I feel such a purpose, more than any time in my life, that I can help them with their lives. And that's pretty powerful as you start looking at it. And that's why I got back into coaching, and I even feel more strongly about that now. I'm like I said in the opening part, I'm more excited about them next week. A lot of people are questioning us and what we're doing, and we've done more good things than we get credit for, and that's okay. I got that. But I want them to win all the games. I want nice young people that have the best academic record in our league and one of the best in the country, that are doing everything right with NIL to win all the games. And that's my purpose.
Coach, thank you for the time.